My multimedia and sport arts. If you notice, every work of art takes a lot more time and effort to create than it takes to get impressed from it. And that creates pleasure because that condenses amounts of time, effort, and thought from love into a ready product that opens before us a new creation in a short time and at once without us creating it. Yet the best creations are the ones that with time our impression from them lasts a lot longer than it took the creator to create it. It means we are in awe recognizing the divinity in the creation, being something superhuman, talking to us beyond the limitations of time and space, regardless of generational changes. About that, realize that every new good thing that a person creates in the sense is a perception of those that enjoy from it. It is conceived as an expression of God's desire to do good to his creations through a medium, which is a person that invented an invention or an artwork of some kind. Meaning God is speaking to us, sometimes through special particular people who let the divine ray of light burst through them and do good actions which are a reflection of God's desire. That is how, when a person is in equality of form to the divine, when he does the work of God. My sport arts. The ball game is a game with a soccer ball on a tennis court or in front of a big wall, like the prison game with a tennis ball in front of the wall that you can see in the movie Animal Factory. I think this is the most fun game in the world. The wall has to be as high and wide as possible on a large territory. You can play in front of the wall with two people as well. You play mainly with your fists, but with the entire body as well. The movement is constant. The harder you hit the ball, the hard. Art will bounce back at you in front of the wall. But in competition, it's just like the game of tennis, only with a soccer ball and simple point system 1, 2, 3, on time, presumably an hour or two. I can play this game hours by myself. In the game, you constantly run sideways, forward, and backwards, developing all the sport and fitness skills, coordination, reflexes, the power and precision of a hit, agility, and fast reaction, martial arts all together, and take out your energies on the ball. It also trains strong fists, concentration, and feedback calculation from the wall or the opponent. You can play short distance without touching the ground, and even count how many hits did you manage to give without dropping the ball, or from a distance, letting the ball touch the floor, once like in tennis rules. In the future, this will be the main ball game in the world. All the nowadays stadiums and courts will be occupied for this ball game. It also gives you a feeling of God's spiritual energy, like a shawl and monk sportsman of the new generation. You feel you fight with a ball in front of the wall opposed to yourself or an opponent as a form of communication of movements and angles and power game in a rapid pace, intensively similar to Tekken ball mode. My martial arts, let's call it Yin-Do, consists of Taekwondo, wrestling, and Jeet Kune Do, all street style with shoes, with my special additions on everyone in the fields, while not using what the rest of people create from M.A. commercialized egoistic violence. Because they are the natural things for the human body to do, only without the bloody purposes of the old world, rather as a natural divine method for development and spiritual physical completion of your human sport potential in the ideology of peace of the new world, which is the only way to live and get along together in a cooperative world with limited space and resources. As explained in the philosophy of parkour, the only rules are to respect your body, people, and environment. Therefore, we don't do anything that harms any one of them. Thus, my martial arts is mainly a personal and coupled training in the constructive, useful limits, not the destructive, full of hatred and pain as it was in the past. Meaning I have a sparring partner, and we do training fights, which will improve your level much more than real damaging fights. Just like Chinese touch hands, Wing Chun style, in different sections, one-step sparring, open hands, realistic wrestling, Taekwondo style kick training with step shoes, big boxing gloves, only upper body. Any other kind of fighting is destructive, hateful, and damaging, therefore contradicting the purpose to enjoy the training and improve your reflexes and skills. Without TKD, step shoes, a performance is much worse than human abilities, and too much unstable with sports shoes, although much better than without shoes at all. Clumsy sports shoes can hurt the opponent much more as well. Beyond that, you can have extreme Taekwondo, training with kicks to the legs and the head, without punches to the face or knees and elbows, as in the Olympic standard with leg kicks as well. I'm sure there will be those that will want to have extreme stand-up fights without limitations besides.
More than they do their real couples and decide to meet in real life. So it will also be a dating service. Anyway, that's just the way life goes. And although I may be a few years ahead in my thinking, this idea will be invented sooner or later anyway. It is part of the process of human evolution. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about 3D, 4D, virtual reality helmet or anything like that, because that's damaging to the eyes. Just a modest console game on an old-fashioned TV screen, better yet with the big glass boxes to have some depth perception. The funniest thing is the best games I can remember are PlayStation 1 games. Tekken 3, Siphon Filter 1, 2, 3. Crash Bandicoot. And the best graphics was when you saw the differences between the computer world and the real world, because that fooled the brain even more. This is a real virtual world you're playing in. Just a thought. Therefore, when the entire project is completed, fully running and operational, people will educate themselves as children on it, grow up on it, and live their entire life with it as a companion, a friend, a social activity, as the most natural and normal thing for them to do, that they may not even think about how strange it is to live half your life playing a PlayStation game, because it will be a natural continuation of the possibilities of life, a normal, socially accepted worldwide activity, inside an exact replication of the real world. Much more interesting than their real life, because they will be able to climb cities using parkour, travel to different countries they would not travel so easily to with their real body, and basically do whatever they want all the time after having enough money to have enough free time to do so. They will get so much used to it from the smallest age they can remember that it will truly bring a great benefit and fill a great void and educational and friendship need for every person in the future. 2. Infinity, the movies, the sports game and war game. What would happen if you combine the movies Mortal Kombat, Dragon Ball Z, The Matrix, The Terminator, Universal Soldier, Star Wars, with the revelation of Jesus Christ? You would have a Star Wars of multidimensional, angelic, and alien races, in many realms and planets, including this one. The evil ones have an agenda of global domination in the spiritual world as well. The good side is trying to fight off the Chitauri, Anunnaki, demons, and ghosts. Then you have the hero character gradually acquiring supernatural powers, becoming a master, and learning powers of flight, manifestation, mastering the elements, and becoming in contact with the good forces by channeling. The evil forces create armies of robots, androids, and genetically manipulated creatures, half animal, half man, half machine, and subjugating the human race to bow down before them and their master. There are teleportation portals and wormholes leading to different places all over if the multidimensional universe used in the series. There is an all-out war with spaceships across the universe between the two sides. I see it all in my head. It is very hard to describe in writing, but use your imagination. Supernatural powers and creatures, alien technology, robots and biomechanical androids, a multi-planetary universal and multidimensional Star Wars type of battle, genetically modified creatures, heaven and hell fighting the battle of Armageddon. All the cards are on the table, the rabbit is out of the hat, and everything humanity feared will be destroyed by all the good angelic powers in this series in the last battle of good versus evil, as represented by Satan versus Jesus in a full scale. Revelation like in the times of Atlantis and Krishna with Vimanas, Merkavas, and like the battle between Moses and Pharaoh, and probably many others like Zeus and the Titans and all other mythologies coming alive for this battle, giants and Nephilim, fallen angels, the army of God, and human hero characters fighting hell unleashed. It would be too big of a project and too unbelievable to put it in a real-life movie to make it worthwhile, so the only way to show it is to make a computer-animated Final Fantasy-style movie/S and PlayStation game/S. All of that happens on a spiritual dimension of the world and the universe. It all starts when an energetic shift takes place in the world and all human beings start acquiring supernatural powers they are gradually becoming more aware of. These are the powers of their soul. They are becoming unbreakable, indestructible, and very powerful in the physical sense as well. They begin having powers of levitation and flying, instant healing, influential powers of the mind, telekinesis, instant teleportation, remote viewing, contact with angels and aliens who are their allies. They can gradually create and manifest their imaginations in physical matter from thin air, shoot energy balls, control nature and the elements, and alike. Then they start seeing the spiritual hidden dimension inside this world, and they realize the dark forces have been fighting their angel protectors alone all this time, fighting off the opposition to preserve the human way of life. Their wisdom increases very fast, due to them and upgrading capacity of their thoughts and time, and their connection with their spiritual guides and guardians and ally forefather humanoid and human-like alien races. They can communicate with animals and God. Many of them start seeing and talking to Jesus Christ simultaneously. They can perform miracles, learn and teach the inner science of it, if and teach each other how to increase their supernatural powers for good. They start to understand they are in a spiritual war that goes on all the time, and the forces of evil are trying to conquer this world and get into heaven. The humans start helping the angels who are fighting alone all this time. Humans themselves become angelic creatures, and they understand their level of evolution is now merging the spiritual realm with the physical realm. Death is vanquished. Nobody's dying anymore. Old people get their youth renewed spontaneously. Dead people rise, and everybody have an everlasting life. Humanity starts developing spaceships to help the war on other planets with other races. And they have the ability to see the spiritual world with inside any physical world on another dimension, and they fight the evil creatures just like the illusions that they are, and each one of them is vanquished and disappears. The worldwide changes in the unification of humanity in spiritual practices elevates the energetic state of the planet to the supernatural level, and all of that process is shown in all of the future multimedia ideas and games that will be created from it. When the battle for the planet become too difficult, Jesus returned with his army of angels to finish it. That is the general scenario, but it is much more detailed and specific in the sports game that leads to. Won't experience the game and movies. That is one of the main differences between the games and movies from real life. The movie also concentrates on the life of the main character as DBZ does on the life of Son Goku even before he knew he was the one. Just a little better than everyone in everything. Then, after the invasion starts, he's also just a little better than everyone at killing evil, and rewardingly exponentially so, with supernatural powers, becoming the strongest creature who ever lived and lives forever. It also shows the efforts of all the various creatures in the war, good or bad, as in animals, supernatural beings, angels and aliens. It also shows science, sports, meditation, dreams, having fun, nature, and love. Then there is the aspect which isn't in the game at all, which is the connection between the games, dream world, and the real world, as in showing that what happens in our perfect heaven is a result of the same invasion happening on the physical plane in our real world in famous capital cities and the world-known locations, for example, and showing the heavenly creatures as the soul noticing the body's struggle on the physical plane as planet Earth and others begin to be invaded by evilness, and showing a correlation to it happening for real, as it really is, to show and warn the worldwide public that on one side it is all fiction, fun and games, but on the other side there's a real element to the story that you have to consider and change in the real world if you don't want the same results as the moral from the movie. The other piece of information that you can take with you from the movie is the image of the perfect world. It will be a computerized model we can all strive to achieve and create in our world to get to heaven's infinity. Infinity, the sports game. For sports, ball game, parkour, martial arts, fitness. A GTA, Watch Dogs, Sleeping Dogs kind of surreal world playing ground in a realistic environment, like Unreal Tournament without guns kind of atmosphere conditions. Like a giant PK park with most structures for PK use, with buildings a character with supernatural endurance in terms of crashes, fighting and falling. Players could only be beaten and lose fighting points, but people don't work, don't have guns, but do drive cars and bikes and have only realistic parkour and martial arts moves. Tekken 3 was the best example of, and if possible those exact characters with those exact moves and more will be played, but only the realistic male ones because I don't support female fights and violence. Never liked it in games neither. Visual camera distance will be implemented in fights and will return to aerial view afterwards. Besides, of course, there will be a standard character we will create who will have all the moves I show in my video library. That character will be editable as in Sims, so you can make him look as much as yourself as possible so that there would be a realistic difference between characters design yours, so that players will know if they recognize you or not. But once you do, you cannot change or build another one with your user. Different cloths you will have to find hidden in the game. There will be plenty of them, and then you could switch wardrobes. It will also serve as a disguise from repeating bullies. You have to earn it by finding it. They can pick fights with anyone at any time, and so is with the ball game and parkour and fitness, because every city is entirely rooftops climbable like Infamous, but more PK suitable, and is built for PK like a giant parkour park city with an online multiplayer feature, which is the main realistic fun part of the game. But it combines also computer players with no distinction so that nobody can tell whether he or she's fighting or playing the ball game right now against a computer or a human. And all start the same with the same level and only gain endurance sort of health meter decrease or increase points, and there is a catch tag option in parkour style where if you punch or kick equals tag someone and run away climbing, it means you want to play catch with him or her, and a light sign lights up above your head and the person who tagged hit you or the one you tagged and ran away from, and it's turned off after a few seconds of no response. No interaction if no chase has begun, which means you or he don't want to play PK catch with him or her right now. But if you both play, your signs stay lit, so it will be easy to identify who we were playing with, maybe a short name sign light as well. So that these are the main principles of the game, but you don't lose points if you got ran over by a car, but the one who is in control of the vehicle gets a lot of animosity towards him or her from the computer and human players that are going to purposefully crash drive into his car, chase him, take him out of the car and beat him or her up, even multiple people at once if he or she hit many people or crash drive or ran over others, or if a player runs in the street and just tags many people at once. Most likely many people are going to come after him and beat him up, which will result in loss of health points. Life points vary from one person to another due to his/her actions, meaning that you can spend lots of time just doing parkour and avoiding fights and getting like 1 point up for every action move succeeded, jumps, balance, tricks, stunts, vaults, for moves that are successful, and a health reduction for unsuccessful jumps. But if big high falls are equivalent to your entire endurance health meter, it will mean restart. Let's say in terms of damage, if it is equal to your ability to withstand, for example, currently 100 punches or kicks till you die, then you would also lose the game from a high fall that is at least just as damaging. So if you are winning a lot, training, gaining level ups, you could withstand more punishment in combat and PK jumps failures. But if you are losing a lot or down to 0, your health endurance meter responds accordingly. So you
Story building. All the buildings will be fully equipped with climbing opportunities, like the Uncharted games, while also forcing fast action or crumbling slippery falls every once in a short while, which would make the extreme sport of buildering, although rewarding, extreme even in the game. By then I maybe start a multiple fight and or chase by tagging and or running away from many people at once and fight some, run some, and again. Then I look at my statistics page, which is the same one for all overall, generally and personally specifically, and each new record I set the trophy or medal pops up with a special sound on the screen, and to complete the whole chart of available prizes is one of the most advanced stages in the game, each one being like a mission for you to get a respectable trophy set collection, and even better and hard to get a good place in the overall Infinity Gaming community statistics. But the best champion can be only one in every mission field, and one overall, like I've already mentioned, for examples that will grow much more in the future, as will other yet to be decided features. Because I need to see the game while creating it and consulting and testing and improving all of its details and options to get a better idea of what it should look like to be most comfortable, playable, enjoyable, etc. Maybe to conclude, I can explain the reasons for the game, which are because of the best and worst of human nature. Movies tend to show, what if this was real, and delude you into believing it. Games are just the opposite, meaning we know the game isn't real, nor do we want it to be real or a movie. We like it just the way it is as the game, because it lets us engage in a virtual reality where no one really suffers or dies, but in which we can manifest all the hidden human wants and talents in the game, although impossible in real life. But because it is still a part of our human imaginative nature, one we would not be complete without, just like dreams or love. So has gaming become a part of the newly young and improved generation set of desires, and just in time too, when we have the technology to make all our previously unachievable wishes our computer's commands. And in sports, it doesn't get any better than this. If you see all my videos, you would get a clear picture of how the game looks. Asterisk important to know, besides Warang and Ogre, of all the other characters need to have more fight moves to be at that same level of martial arts as invested into those two characters. Why Tekken 3 and not other installments or different games? Because it's the most realistic basic core of elements classifying all Lama types and relatively equal character strength, besides the fewest unrealistic moves we will take out, so that every character will truly represent his A with human powers. Any other games or installments are too much surreal. Of course, Tekken can add some of its classic characters like Beck and Lee, but at realistic Tekken 3 speed and even graphics, which were much better than the smooth later ones, because when you are playing a surreal dimension, you want it to be different than the real one, and not close to it. This way the game is more real and likable, because of its different graphics than life. It's a psychological trick that makes it much more believable and real. although new graphics and consoles and games try to cause the impression of real by better graphics. They would never fool the eyes to believe it's real no matter how many pixels and how smooth and beautiful and realistic the screen and graphics would be. What is that trick is old graphics. They fool the brain to believe the game exists in another dimension inside the TV, and you are controlling real divine multidimensional beings in Tekken 3. That is why I also recommend to bring back the old TV glass screen big boxes, because their vision was better than flat screen. The more flat and realistic you try to make TVs and games graphics, the less interesting they are and less likable, because we like to have the difference. It made people feel like the game world is a real dimension, instead of a smooth imitation of this one. Also, the Tekken 3 music and sound on the old TVs was much better, intriguing, and captivating. I still play it. I was never so attracted to a game on PC or PS or any other, and have never played so many hours as on this one. Mainly infinite practice modes, with warring against Ogre or warring at the hardest CPU level 10. About 20 years off and on, only in my
childhood, some in my youth, and recently too when I reacquired this possession. I traveled cities with my last money just to find it and the PS1 again secondhand. I carried a big old TV for miles just to have it in my home. And I love it much more than the new ones. Maybe we can add the character from Sleeping Dogs Wei Shin as well if they will want to join us, because his full obtainable martial arts moves and stamina is very perfectly good and exact relatively to what I envision for the game. I'm sure that when this game will be sponsored and all the brains of all the games I've mentioned will sit together and design it, many characters from many franchises will want to enter to, even super well-known action stars. Moreover, we will invite all the other human well-known gaming and real-life action characters to join for free, unlike the human-like stars of Tekken, Mortal Kombat, DBZ, and Wei Shin. But the only condition will be to limit their moves to human-like ones only, no weapons, energy balls, or unrealistic jump and strike combinations. Just like a K1 game with real human speed and power, doable moves to each his own style. Just imagine as the game starts, people and CPUs will start running in all directions, starting to accumulate health points from every sport action they can do, and food, which will be limited to 1 meal per X time, and will explore the entire world cities. Some will be real ones when permission is acquired, and all mayhem will begin. Street fights, friendships being made, and gang fights, due to text communication ability and game overhead. PK matches one-on-one for the sum of both point runs in time, ball game tournaments. Stats rising, records being accomplished and surpassed every day. Tag chases everywhere. People climbing buildings and structures realistically difficult. Mad jumps everywhere. Vehicle and PK. Masters surpassing the abilities of the rest, establishing their names in the Hall of Fame of the game, communicating to each other and finding each other with the online stats and in-game email option, entering each other's game room worlds for masterclass meetups, broadcasted live and posted to show and teach the world their extreme gaming abilities, having ranks based on their winnings, trophies, records, and achievements, enabled to see on the top 100 worldwide stats board, with video replays of noticeable award-winning action moves saved, valuable items being robbed in winner takes all fights and accumulated by the prosperous survivors of the game to showcase. Another interesting time in the game will be when we reach the level the mainframe cannot capacitate any more players at once. It starts deleting CPU players by starting from the worst ones, eventually leading to only the best CPU players surviving in the game. Those CPU will never be deleted since their game is better than human game skill, and they've achieved so much they are worthy to be studied. How were their decisions better than the rest of the CPUs? And then we will know if humans are better than them or not. Of course, in order for that to be realistic, the CPUs cannot perform everything just perfectly, so their performance has to be limited to the best presumed human ability at best. Their evolution upgrade rate also has to be programmed to be unlocked gradually at presumed human rate, which will be fully known only after tested, and has to be varied accordingly afterwards. Also, in order for us to reveal if they are purposefully violent to other human P, we will have to design the options for point making through time to be just as lucrative in fights as it is in PK. We humans know the only difference is fighting humans is a destructive action and doing PK doesn't harm anybody if done carefully, but even then we might say that they could go after the items because accumulating them and setting records and all our human desires in the game will be their missions as well. Rather, even they are at danger of losing points in fights, so we will see what way of life they consider better, as a peacemaker or a troublemaker, and when they run away from human players or chase them down, whether they remember, know, and recognize when a strong player has entered the game in their vicinity and what their reaction will be towards him. Like FE, I can beat the CPU at the hardest level in practice mode in Tekken, but only until I get tired. The CPU doesn't. He continues to study my moves and find my weaknesses, as I do. Therefore, the time CPUs are allowed to play will have to be limited for the average human time. Also interesting to see CPU fights, and whether they will start using our language texting ability if they are given to study keywords meaning. And even then I wonder how humans will be able to differentiate a CPU user from a real one, and once they do, will they improve their lingo to our slang as a survival strategy in the game? God probably tests us the same, which leads to the conclusion that some people are biological CPU brains, as in totally operating on their programmed genetic code, not real. Maybe even most, and that we are already living in a holographic matrix, ruled by God though, not CPUs.
Multidimensional universe used in the series. There is an all-out war with spaceships across the universe between the two sides. I see it all in my head. It is very hard to describe in writing, but use your imagination. Supernatural powers and creatures, alien technology, robots and biomechanical androids, a multi-planetary universal and multi-dimensional Star Wars type of battle, genetically modified creatures, heaven and hell fighting the battle of Armageddon. All the cards are on the table. The rabbit is out of the hat. And everything humanity feared will be destroyed by all the good angelic powers in this series in the last battle of good versus evil as represented by Satan versus Jesus in a full scale. Revelation like in the times of Atlantis and Krishna with Vimanas, Merkavas, and like the battle between Moses and Pharaoh, and probably many others, like Zeus and the Titans and all other mythologies coming alive for this battle, giants and Nephilim, fallen angels, the army of God and human hero characters fighting hell unleashed. It would be too big of a project and too unbelievable to put it in a real-life movie to make it worthwhile, so the only way to show it is to make a computer-animated Final Fantasy style movie/S and PlayStation game/S. All of that happens on a spiritual dimension of the world and the universe. It all starts when an energetic shift takes place in the world, and all human beings start acquiring supernatural powers they are gradually becoming more aware of. These are the powers of their soul. They are becoming unbreakable, indestructible, and very powerful in the physical sense as well. They begin having powers of levitation and flying, instant healing, influential powers of the mind, telekinesis, instant teleportation, remote viewing, contact with angels and aliens who are their allies. They can gradually create and manifest their imaginations in physical matter from thin air, shoot energy balls, control nature and the elements, and alike. Then they start seeing the spiritual hidden dimension inside this world, and they realize the dark forces have been fighting their angel protectors alone all this time, fighting off the opposition to preserve the human way of life. Their wisdom increases very fast due to them and upgrading capacity of their thoughts in time and their connection with their spiritual guides and guardians and ally forefather humanoid and human-like alien races. They can communicate with animals and God. Many of them start seeing and talking to Jesus Christ simultaneously. They can perform miracles, learn and teach the inner science of it, and teach each other how to increase their supernatural powers for good. They start to understand they are in a spiritual war that goes on all the time, and the forces of evil are trying to conquer this world and get into heaven. The humans start helping the angels who are fighting alone all this time. Humans themselves become angelic creatures, and they understand their level of evolution is now merging the spiritual realm with the physical realm. Death is vanquished. Nobody's dying anymore. Old people get their youth renewed spontaneously. Dead people rise, and everybody have an everlasting life. Humanity starts developing spaceships to help the war on other planets with other races. And they have the ability to see the spiritual world with inside any physical world on another dimension, and they fight the evil creatures just like the illusions that they are, and each one of them is vanquished and disappears. The worldwide changes in the unification of humanity in spiritual practices elevates the energetic state of the planet to the supernatural level, and all of that process is shown in all of the future multimedia ideas and games that will be created from it. When the battle for the planet become too difficult, Jesus return with his army of angels to finish it. That is the general scenario, but it is much more detailed and specific in the sports game that leads to the war game scenario, and I will explain both of them. The entire scenario occurs in the Infinity sports game world. The movie has to come out second. There are several crucial differences between the sports